one of the things in here is, well, you already said that it started with a vision of a girl in a cave, and that there is a whole caving thing, which actually is a very visual thing. You were talking about seeing the movie in your head. I think, you know, you're picturing people down in the caves, and the way you've described it, you feel the atmosphere and, you know, what's actually happening. And I don't think you could read that without having the visuals in your head going with it. But I've really been dying to ask you, have you done that? Did you go caving? Did that come before or after, you know, writing this?
Well, it came around the time I was starting to do some of this free writing that led to the book. But it was what I was writing about. There was kind of a story in it, but it was very different from what the novel ended up being, from the actual plot. But I decided that some of the writing did have to do with going down in a cave, and I thought I'd better really go down in a cave because I wasn't sure what I was writing about. You know, it's one thing to kind of have a picture in your mind about what a cave is like, and you know, and a lot of the things we imagine are really down there, the stalactites and stalagmites, the bats, the you know, dripping water sound, you know.
The orcs and all those visuals. Yeah. Now at the Lord of the Rings films or whatever, what the inside of a cave looks like, yeah.
Yeah, totally, you know, the echoes. And it was really, it's not something that I would do as a hobby, certainly, but it was an amazing experience going down in caves, and really incredibly visceral, scary at times, because, you know, I have a bit of claustrophobia, not a lot, but enough to make those really narrow passages seem, you know, kind of daunting to go into.
So did you just find a group of cavers or something and said, take me, I want to see what this is like?
I did. I was living in Brooklyn at the time.
Just Cave Central there.
Yeah, I know, you might as go in the subways. There is actually somebody who takes people on the tour of some of the subway tunnels under Atlantic Avenue, which are supposed to be a little like
I've actually heard about that. Yes,
caves.
Not unlike caves, although in some ways maybe scarier.
Maybe scarier, yes, and noisier. But I joined a group called the Metropolitan Grotto, which is I believe, still the New York City caving club. And they go to all over the place. Many experienced cavers belong to this organization. There are a lot of caves in upstate New York and in Pennsylvania, so there are many places you can go that are really pretty close to the city, within a few hours' drive. And I went to caves in upstate New York, up in Schoharie County to be exact. Yeah.
So how close is the cave that's in the book, which includes underground running water, and some really tight places and branching off things and stuff? Is that very close to a place or places that you actually went?
It is. I actually modeled the cave in the book a bit after Surprise Cave, which is a cave in upstate New York, in Schoharie County. And I had a map. I believe at some point I looked at a map of the cave, and I kind of drew out a map that was roughly patterned on that particular cave, but then, you know, I added my own stuff to it, you know, that as the story grew, and as her journey, as I got deeper into writing about Phoebe's journey in the cave. So I had my own map, but I kind of based it a bit on the actual cave.
Well, the cave, I mean, it's a perfect metaphor for getting to that spot in your life where you sort of have to rip away all pretenses and get to the heart of things, which is sort of the process she's going through as she's in the cave. Although in here it's actually a very terrifying thing, because there's the physical scariness part as well as the mental. But one of the things that struck me, and also as sort of like that ultimate you know, more is happening here besides just the physical, is the complete blackness in the cave. You know, you turn out your light and there's nothing there. Did you have that experience personally?
Absolutely. And that was something, I mean, being led into a cave by the members of the grotto, there were certain experiences that they wanted first-time cavers to have, and that was one of them, where we turned off our lamps, our carbide, because we were using carbide lamps, and everything went dark. And, you know, there was a group of about 10 people there, but you would see nothing, you would hear nothing, everybody was just quiet. Maybe, you know, you'd hear a bit of breathing, but most people were holding their breath at that point. And it was a pretty amazing feeling. I mean, it was a feeling of fear, of a kind of being in a void, maybe a bit like what being in outer space is like, I don't know, but a feeling of kind of a disintegration in a way, and in a way that's something I imagined as much as probably felt, but there was a bit of that feeling that your body could just disintegrate into this total